Mount Everest Base Camp. I've been interested in Mount Everest for a long time, but a little bit more so since 1997 when I read the book Into Thin Air by John Krakauer, which details the tragedy from May 10th, 1996, where 8 climbers were killed in a blizzard. And I quickly realized from reading that book that although I was really interested in going to Mount Everest, that I was not going to the summit of Mount Everest really ever, period. Because I don't have the 3 months to take off work, I don't have $60,000 to $100,000 to spend on it, and you might die. So I really kind of put it out of my head. I thought I still want to go to Nepal someday. I put it on the list, but I put it out of my head for about 20 years. Until one day I went out to my mailbox and there was this brochure for this Everest Base Camp trek. Didn't know much about it. I looked into it a little bit, kind of piqued my interest, and then coincidentally a couple weeks later, I got this email about this wilderness medicine Everest Base Camp trek. I went to the website, I checked it out. Being the medicine person I am, it's kind of a win-win. Go with a bunch of medical people, kind of as a business expense. And I said, well, I really want to do this. Go to Nepal, I probably won't die. And so I wanted to do it. Brief educational interlude here. In talking to people that don't know much about this trip, they say, well, base camp, that's at the base of the mountain. So you're going to go to Nepal and you're going to hike what, like an hour or two from your hotel up to base camp. You're going to have a look around and then come back down. I mean, what's the point of that? Okay, not quite that simple. Here's the itinerary. Takes about 3 weeks altogether. You fly into Kathmandu. You hang out there for a day or two. And then from there you fly to Lukla, 9,200 feet, most dangerous airport in the world. Check it out. From there you hike up about 9 or 10 days and you get to Everest Base Camp. And even that last day when you hike to Everest Base Camp, you have to hike for 8 to 10 hours just on that day to get to base camp at 17,600 feet. The next day most people will go to Kalapatar, 18,514 feet, and then eventually day 18 you get to fly home. So it is no small undertaking. Oxygen gets a little bit scarce up there. It's a little chilly up there. It's a little windy. And it's really the trip of a lifetime for a lot of people. So there's that quick little info tidbit for you. Not a simple little day hike. Now, one of the things I realized when I decided to do this trip is that there were several areas that I needed to prepare. And I had about 1 year to do this because I started looking at this in spring 2014. I needed to learn everything I could about this Everest Base Camp trek. I needed to get some hiking experience because I had none. I needed to buy a bunch of gear because I had none. And before the trip came, I needed to get in great shape. First thing, pretty simple. I needed to learn everything I could about the trip. I read a lot of blogs. I read a lot of forums. I watched a bunch of YouTube. And I talked to anyone that I could find that had been on the trek. Next thing is I needed some hiking experience because I had none. I'd barely even done local parks. And after checking through Google, I came across the Wildland Trekking Company. And I've done 3 trips with them now, and they're amazing. Can't say enough good things about them and all their guides. They go all over. I started with a simple 3-day Grand Canyon trek. Did 3 miles down, 3 miles back every day. We had some great weather, small group, amazing views. And it was great because some of the trails were a little rougher than others, and I also got to use some of their equipment so I could figure out what I kind of liked, what I didn't like before I went spending money on my own equipment. Then I need a little altitude because Everest is kind of high, so I went to Rocky Mountain National Park and actually got above 12,000 feet. Did pretty well with the altitude. Did a little bit of camping, roughed it a little bit, had some amazing views there, and in the course of 5 days, we hiked about 40 miles there with, again, some amazing scenery. And then I needed a little cold weather beatdown because Everest is a little chilly, so in January, I went snowshoeing in Yellowstone National Park. A lot of the days started out at minus 5 degrees Fahrenheit, a bit chilly, so you get all bundled up. It snowed the last day. And aside from going to see geysers, which was pretty cool, and doing all this snowshoeing, one of the big things you could do was go in the hot spring there. Now take a note how everyone's dressed in this little clip. Big jackets, hats. It's January. There it is, January 13th. There's that day on my phone. Feels like 14 degrees. Here's the bulky jackets. Here's the hats. Now what happens is you get down to your bathing suit or however naked you want to get. You go down these stairs here and you walk about 20 yards across this ankle-deep water, which may either be boiling hot or ice cold depending on where your foot is, and you get down to the hot spring. Hang out there for a while, but remember, you got to come out of that thing half naked, wet, back into that 14-degree air, and it's a bit chilly. The next thing I realized was that because I had never really been hiking, I had no stuff. I needed to go buy shirts and socks and pants, and the closest thing that I had to hiking boots were these military ones that I got off clearance from LA Police Gear. So I needed to go buy all this stuff. I became a little bit too frequent of a visitor at REI, and I could never go there and spend a small amount of money or a short amount of time. Here's a little example of one of my visits there. Over the course of a year, I got to try out a lot of gear. One of the biggest things being searching for the perfect day pack, and I did reviews of a lot of that stuff here. Here's a few examples. The Osprey Manta 28, Gregory Z30, Gregory Z35, Osprey Kestrel 38, Osprey Kestrel 32, Osprey Stratos 34, the Cool Liberator Convertible, the Casio Pro Trek PRW 3000. Through the process, I went through the packing list, both from the company that I'm going with, as well as stuff I read from a bunch of websites, and just started amassing stuff and have been collecting it here on the floor in my room over the past couple months. You're only allowed 15 kilograms or 32 pounds total because of the weight limits on the flight into Lukla, and so you really have to pare down your stuff. You can't bring a bunch of clothes, you can only bring just a few changes of clothes, so you really need to choose wisely and efficiently. Need some vaccines for Nepal. Nepal vaccine. Go to the CDC page and you scroll down, have your routine vaccines, and then there's other two big ones to get, hepatitis A and typhoid. Here's the typhoid vaccine, Vivotif. Let's have a look at it. It's 4 pills, 1 every other day, 1 before meals, or 1 hour before meals rather. And here are the pills. It's a live attenuated vaccine. I talked to some people that have taken it that have had no side effects, but because it's a live attenuated vaccine, you may get a little flu-like illness. We'll see how it does for me. You want to start taking this about 2 weeks before you go. Let's have at it. Oops. All right, and the other big thing with them is you have to refrigerate them between use. So I'm gonna stick this back in the refrigerator. Here's another tip as long as we're on pills. One of the infectious disease docs happened to stop by the ER today, and typically I take along my little travel medication pack here with a bunch of different drugs in it. Zofran, Allegra D, Avalox, Diamox, Tylenol, Motrin, some vitamins, some diarrhea medicine back here. In the past it had always been Cipro for traveler's diarrhea. He was saying now the choice of trusted ones is Zithromax. For the most part, Pepto-Bismol will be fine for simple diarrhea, but if you start getting systemic symptoms, fever, chills, you start feeling just absolutely miserable, Zithromax is now the choice instead of Cipro like it used to be. This is also easier to take. 2 pills the one day, and then 1 pill each of the other days, unlike Cipro, which is twice a day. With about 5 months left, I knew I needed to get in the best shape that I could. Now I've seen people from the thin and in shape to the fat and out of shape do this trek, but you're going to enjoy it a heck of a lot more if you can minimize the huffing and puffing by being in the best shape you can. For the past bunch of years, I've done a lot of the Beachbody programs, Insanity, P90X. For this one, I started out with Shaun T's T25, 25 minutes every day for 2 months. Do in your kitchen, no equipment, no reason not to work out for 25 minutes a day, even if you're doing it at midnight. After that, I moved on to Insanity Max 30, another 2-month program, 30 minutes a day. Studies have shown that after 30 minutes a day, you start getting diminishing returns on the benefits, so you can get almost as much benefit from working out for 30 minutes as you can for 60 minutes. And again, no reason not to work out at home for 30 minutes a day.
Push. go. Down, punch, in, up, down, punch, in, up. And you come up. Ready? Go. Arms out. Stop up top. Arms out. Shoulders with elbow in line. Keep it. 5, come on. 4, 3, 2, you're max out. Down. Way to go, guys.
Aside from that, I needed to get some actual hiking climbing muscles in shape. So I would take my backpack, I'd load it with as much weight as I could, and I would go to work a little bit early, and I would hike up and down the 10 flights of stairs. It was about 4-minute round trip, 215 up, 145 down, and it was quite the workout. It get me all hot and sweaty, get my heart rate up. I get up to the top, I'd take a little break there, wipe off, and then I would head back down. Actually ran into a guy that had done Kilimanjaro that asked me what I was training for. When I get to the bottom, I would go and get a quick drink of water, and then I would head back in and back up the stairs. And I'd also take my pack and try and get out to some of the local parks and do some actual hiking. I do a couple miles a day. Can't quite get the elevation changes here that I'm going to run into on the Everest Base Camp trek, but still it's good to get out and get those actual hiking, trekking muscles worked out. So that's it. Everything I've been doing for the past year to prepare for my trek up to Everest Base Camp summarized down into about 12 minutes. My little semi-serious vlog of it all. Hope you've enjoyed watching the video. I had a good time making it. At this point I have 9 days left until I leave for Nepal, and I just need to finish fine-tuning the stuff I have here. Get down to my official 15 kilograms, 32 pounds, get it packed up, and head over there. I'm looking forward to a great trip. Stay tuned after I get back. I'm hoping to have lots of videos from the trip. Take care, and thanks again for watching.